Pay attention, please. What I want you to do is go to your start menu and search the word Turing as in Alan Turing. Okay? There's a coding language that was written, I don't know, many years ago, and it was written for students learning to code. It's like a very user-friendly coding language. Not in the sense that like it's watered down in terms of what it can do, but in how it's set up. It's really easy to set up Turing and just run it and run some quick code. If you want to run in C++, you have to include, I'll show you some C++ code. This is what we learned in grade 11 and 12, and probably a little bit at the end of grade 10 this year. But you have to like include all these like files with code in them and all kinds of stuff like that. There's a whole bunch of overhead ideas that we need to learn. Turing, it's just like, it's written in C++ coding language, and you just get in, you start coding, and you're good. So here is the first command I'll show you, okay? Let me just zoom in a little bit here, because you can't zoom in on the editor. This is the editor. Whatever you type in here, it will turn that code into basically ones and zeros and run it for you. So the first thing I want to do is I want to write the command put, okay? And then if I'm going to put a sentence, here's always the first code you could ever write in any kind of coding language. You write hello world. You have to put it in quotes though, and I'll tell you why in a minute, why that is. My computer's having a hard time zooming in. Really lagging today. Anyways, if I hit run, it'll make a little window. Not responding. My computer's really slow today. I don't know what happened. It makes a little window that says hello world. Okay. I can also write numbers and letters and symbols in there and stuff like that. Okay, like that. Okay, it'll write it on the screen. One thing you want to do though is you always want to save your file. If you don't, it doesn't automatically save. Okay, so you could code like 20 lines of code and then Turing could crash or something and you could lose your project. So I'm gonna save this right now. I'm gonna actually make a folder for Turing. Let's do that. Okay. It always gives it the file extension .t, so remember that. I'm going to save mine somewhere, like in a computers folder or something. I have a zip drive on here, so I might just save it there. I'm going to make a new folder in here. I'm going to call it, is there a create new folder button right there? Yes. So I'm going to make myself a Turing folder and save it there. And I might just call this lab1.t because we are working on lab1 today. Lab1.t. There you go. Okay. I'll show you later how to do graphics and everything. We're going to have a landscape project where you make like a background picture with the code. You can move stuff around with graphics and stuff. It's not as point and click as Scratches, but it's definitely more powerful. Okay, so when I run that, I get a little window that does that. It can do math as well, but if you don't put numbers in quotes, it's fine. Okay, run. It'll put 5, 6, 7, 8 on the screen. It can even do math like times in coding as times. So if I times that by 2, it'll do the math. And there you can see it puts 11,356. I could even divide by like 2.5 or something. Guys, Mr. Bullis is here for the test info, I'm sure. What do you got for us, Mr. B?
So you got 4 classes?
Yes.
Writing in here?
And 2 students from here only writing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they can go kind of study. You could go to art. You could go to drama.
My guys can?
Well,
The whole class, right?
I don't know where they're going to go.
Yeah.
You can go to the library.
Turing here. So it can do math, no problem. Just like Scratch could do it. When I run this, you can see I have decimals there. Okay. Here's another thing I can do. Okay. If I want to separate things, like if I want to put like I want to put name colon like that. I think I just put a comma, and then I could put the person's name if I wanted, or a variable or something. I mean, this isn't a really useful thing to do. It could be a useful thing once we make some variables. So let's make a couple of variables in here, and then put them on the screen, just like we would have in Scratch. Okay? So here's how you make variables in Turing. You write var, okay? Then you give your variable a name, just like you would in Scratch. So you say, like, I don't know, name1 or something like that, okay? And then you have to give it a type. You put a colon, and then you have to give it a type. In Scratch, it will automatically try to figure out if you used words or numbers. In Turing, you have to tell it if you're going to use words. If you're going to use words, you have to write the word string, okay? I'm also going to make a variable called age. That's going to hold in an integer. And I'm going to make one other variable type, and I'm going to call it pi. Now that can't be an integer, because that means it's a whole number. So I'm going to write real, like that. Those are the three types we need to know, okay?
They'll say you can't log in. I've had like 4 of them.
Okay. He's here today. Wait till he shows back up.
Alright.
Okay. You did something to it, and I know you did.
No, they're all like this.
Yeah? Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. They're in kiosk mode. Okay. So, how are we going to set these variables? I want name1. If I want to set it equal to something, I write colon equals. It would be nice to write equals. Let's see what happens if I just write equals and then I write in a name. Ryan. What happens? If I hit run, I get a little warning. There was one warning, and it usually shows up at the bottom of the screen. It says, I found an equals, but I'm assuming you meant colon equals. My program doesn't do anything right now because I didn't write anything on the screen yet, but yes, if you want to assign a variable, you write colon equals. And later on, we'll use a single equals for something else, okay? So keep that in mind. Age, I want to let equal 16. That's Isaac's best friend. Yep. And pi, I want to equal 3.14159. Okay? So now I've saved those 3 pieces of information in my computer. I can use them in like a line or something. I could put hello, comma, like that, right? And then if I put a comma here and write the variable name1, it'll say hello, Ryan. Should. Does it? Yes, it does. Okay, great. So I can use the variable name. I see that you are blank years old, right? So I could write another quote, then a comma. Then I'll put in my variable age, separate that by a comma, and write years old. It's kind of tracking weird here. Run. Hello, Ryan. I see that you are 16 years old. I got some spacing issues here or there. Spelled Terhat there. Terhat. And then I could, I could work in pi, I could put like, did you know that pi is whatever, I don't know, comma. Here's the thing with Turing, right? Like if you make a little typo, it'll screw up. Scratch doesn't let you do typos. So like if I forget a comma here, it'll give me an error. Right? It'll say there's one error. It highlights where it thinks the error is. It's not always right. And it'll usually give you a little tip. Okay? Age is not a procedure and hence cannot be called. Okay, so it thinks something weird's going on with age, and you got to realize it doesn't always give you the best explanation. It's a lot better than Python or C++ in its errors, though. That's another reason why it's so user-friendly.
Python didn't tell you the error.
It tries, but like it's a computer. It kind of
Syntax error.
yeah, syntax error. Like if I write name like that, I don't have a variable called name, so it's going to be like, what the heck, man? Name has not been declared. So it's going to take a while to get used to coding without making typos. Here's one other thing we can do, and as opposed to just setting a variable. Like in Scratch, we had that blue answer bubble where we can make the person type it in. So let's do that. I'm going to delete the Ryan, the age, and the pi variable. I'm not going to delete I'm not going to delete me making the variables up here, but I am going to delete setting them. Okay. If I run this, it actually gives me an error, and not every coding language would do this. Variable has no value. Okay. So Scratch would just let you run it, and it would fill it with zeros usually, right? When you make a variable, it just fills it with nothing if it's a word or zeros if it's a number. Here in Turing, it's not going to let us do that. Let's get the user to type in some stuff. So I'm going to write on the screen, enter a name, like that. And here's how you get them to type it in. You write get name1. Okay. And then if I put enter an age, if I write get age, it'll prompt the person to type that one in. And then lastly, I guess I can keep pi. Here's one way to set it on the same line, equals 3.14. I don't need them to type that one in, right? So on the same line as where I made the variable, I could also do the colon equals. A little bit of a shortcut there. We'll learn them as we go, though. Today's first lab is all just like putting stuff on the screen and getting people to type stuff. So if I run that, now you can see a little cursor there. Enter a name. George. Georgie. Okay. Hit enter. Enter an age, 16. Hello, George. I see that you're 16. It did work. It wrote George instead of Ryan, right? It's because it's variable. It can change. That's what variable means. So, Raj is 77. Hello, Raj. I see that you're 77 years old. One little glitch that can happen, though, check this out. If I write Raj and then a last name. So let's say I write Raj Kapila, okay? And hit enter, it screws up. The reason why it screws up is because it was only expecting one word for the name, so it tried to make age equal Kapila. And then it's like, whoa, you gave me the wrong input. You should have gave me a number. There is a way to deal with that. I can't remember. Do you write get name ... or something? No? Get name star, I think. You can write get name star, maybe. And that will allow you to put spaces in there. No, it's not get name star. Hold on, I'm going to look up how to do this again. I can't remember. Yeah, so there is a good help. There's not a lot online for Turing just because it's an older language and no one uses it anymore, but I think it's cool for grade 10s. Uh, so if you go to help and Turing reference, you can find the help there. I'm just going to go and find the get command. See all the commands there and stuff. Turing environment, index, get. And it'll show you how it uses it and all the little tips and tricks you can do. Oh, here it is. Get and then colon star will allow you to type more than one word in there. Get colon star. There you go. Okay. So let me zoom in on that. Run it. Now I can probably write Raj Kapila. Hit enter, and it'll let me now write an age. 40. Hello, Raj Kapila. I see that you're 40 years old. Okay. So that's that for lab 1. I'll already posted it